played a lot of games where you're just some fragile intern with a sword politely asking enemies to die, but not today. Today, we're talking about the games where you don't play a character, you become an unstoppable force of nature with a god complex and no chill. These are 10 games where you are the boss. Imagine if the Hulk got dumped by his therapist, missed leg day, and decided to punch reality in the throat. That's Asura's Wrath. You're a 6-armed demigod with the rage levels of a caffeine-deprived IT guy fixing printers on a Monday morning. The entire game is just Asura having progressively louder temper tantrums, but instead of flipping tables, he's drop-kicking deities into space and body-slamming Buddhas through planets. And you don't fight bosses, you fight entire celestial concepts. A boss grows to the size of a continent? No problem. Asura just punches him so hard, his soul files for unemployment. Quick time events? More like quick time flexes. Even when you're not pressing buttons, Asura is out there suplexing gods into black holes like it's a casual afternoon. This isn't a game, it's a divine therapy session where violence is the coping mechanism, and you, my friend, are the angry therapist with fists that rewrite mythology. Playing Arkham Knight is like being rich Batman on steroids, but with zero time for therapy. You don't just fight crime, you make it rethink its life choices. The second thugs hear your cape flap, they start calling their moms to say goodbye. You drop from the sky like an angry gargoyle with a PhD in fear, and then it's just ballet, but the dance is made of elbows, batarangs, and spinal realignment. And let's talk about the Batmobile. This isn't a car, it's a T-Rex with wheels that shoots missiles and somehow fits in every Gotham alley despite being the size of a condo. You use it to solve puzzles, chase tanks, and occasionally commit war crimes. And even when you're outnumbered, outgunned, and out of patience, the game never says game over. It just watches as you politely rearrange Gotham's criminal population into the ER. You are vengeance, you are the knight, but mostly, you're just a billionaire beating people up because crime dared exist on your shift. Bayonetta 2 is what happens when Elegance gets drunk, borrows the devil's closet, and starts punting angels into different dimensions, all while striking Vogue poses. You play as a bullet ballet ballerina with more sass than an entire season of drag queens and a kill count that makes Dante nervous. She doesn't just fight, she makes it fashion. High heels, guns, hair, also guns. Bad guys, catwalk props. And the boss fights? Oh, they're not fights, they're full-on Broadway demon musicals with interdimensional soul-ripping choreography. At one point, you summon a dragon made out of your hair to chew on a celestial skyscraper while winking at the camera. It's not a power fantasy, it's a dominatrix simulator with a PhD in divine disrespect. Every attack is a middle finger wrapped in silk, and every victory is followed by a smug smirk that says, yes, I just suplexed God into a volcano, and I still didn't chip a nail. Control is like stepping into an IKEA built by aliens on LSD. You're Jesse Faden, freshly hired as the director of the Federal Bureau of What the Hell is Happening, and your first job is to clean up an interdimensional mess using a gun that shapeshifts more than your ex's personality. You're not just in charge, you're the entire HR department, janitor, and paranormal death wizard rolled into one. You start slinging furniture like a poltergeist in a bar fight, floating through hallways like a possessed office intern, and yeeting enemies into walls because they looked at you funny. The building itself, the oldest house, is a living Rubik's Cube that gaslights you harder than your toxic roommate. And your solution? Shoot it until it behaves. Every encounter is a blend of chaos, weirdness, and telekinetic dominance. You're not just the boss of this workplace, you're the CEO of bending physics over your knee and giving it a performance review via orbital filing cabinet. God of War 3 is what happens when Greek mythology gets tired of existing and Kratos shows up to speedrun its extinction. You don't just kill gods, you punch their metaphors to death. The game opens with you climbing a Titan that's climbing a mountain that's stabbing another Titan while you decapitate a god like it's a casual Monday. And that's just the tutorial. Kratos is so angry, the soundtrack feels like it needs a helmet. The man doesn't just solve puzzles, he murders them. A door locked with a riddle? Just break the wall. A boss with multiple phases? You skip phase 2 by stabbing him with phase 1. And the finishers? Oh, they're not finishers. They're ancient Greek trauma manifesting through QTEs that redefine brutality. Zeus, Hades, Helios, all of them fall like overripe fruit under your god-slaying boots. Kratos isn't just the boss, he's the human resources nightmare of Olympus, handing out pink slips with a chain blade and zero emotional support. Delsin Row is what happens when a graffiti artist touches one illegal object and becomes a walking Avengers audition tape. The man steals powers like a toddler steals snacks, shamelessly and with zero chill. You start off vaping smoke powers like you're allergic to subtlety, and before long you're flying around Seattle zapping people with neon, video punching people through satellite dishes, and throwing concrete like a really aggressive Mason with trust issues. You're not just powerful, you're a one-man superhero startup with zero business plan and a massive ego. Cops try to stop you, joke's on them, you just turned into Wi-Fi and phase shifted through the building. And whether you go the hero route or full chaotic gremlin, Delsin doesn't just become the boss, he becomes the charismatic messiah of modern day destruction, tagging walls and absorbing abilities like Pokemon on Red Bull.
Not going anywhere. Tell you.
This isn't just Spider-Man, this is Spider-Man, plural. Double the suits, double the trauma, triple the property damage. You're juggling two superheroes who flip through the city like caffeinated gymnasts on fire, stopping crimes, catching pigeons, and absolutely ruining insurance premiums across New York. Peter's got his slick gadgets and science brain, but now he's got the Venom symbiote, which turns him into Spider-Man, but make it emo WWE edition. Meanwhile, Miles is out here electrocuting people like a human battery that went rogue from Best Buy. The boss fights? You're not just beating enemies, you're therapy punching them into emotional breakthroughs. And every time you swap between Peter and Miles midair, it feels like switching between gourmet destruction and jazz-fueled chaos. It's not, with great power comes great responsibility, it's with great power comes the option to beat people with bioelectric parkour while doing front flips through trauma.
Is that the last break-in I'll ever stop? Not with my luck.
You are Raiden, a cyber ninja so edgy his sword cuts between atoms and his philosophy quotes sound like a philosophy major got possessed by a blender. In this game, stealth is dead, subtlety is banned. You run at tanks with a sword like a tax auditor on rage mode. Your opening act is slicing a helicopter in half, and it only gets more unhinged from there. 1 minute you're slicing watermelons for fun, the next you're slow motion dicing a mecha-wielding senator with more muscles than brain cells. This isn't just combat, it's surgical screaming. Every fight ends in a dramatic anime monologue followed by someone losing their torso. And the music? It's like a motivational speech got punched in the face by an electric guitar. Raiden doesn't sneak. He announces his arrival with windmill kicks and philosophical rants, then dismantles corporate warlords one blood-spraying syllable at a time. You're not just the boss, you're the HR nightmare of cyberpunk capitalism. Alex Mercer is basically a biological blender with a hoodie and the personality of a DMV line. Cold, angry, and moving way too fast. You wake up with zero memory and full powers, and your first instinct is to devour a dude in an alley and shapeshift into him like it's Taco Tuesday. You don't gain XP, you absorb it. You're climbing skyscrapers, elbow-dropping tanks, running up walls like parkour is allergic to gravity, and turning your arms into bladed lawnmowers of doom. The city is terrified of you, and they should be, because you're the human version of Ctrl+Alt plus Delete. Tanks? Hijack them. Helicopters? Ride them like angry metal dolphins. Civilians? Probably fine, unless you accidentally turned into a tentacle apocalypse at the crosswalk. By the time the military realizes you're not just a biohazard but a one-man extinction event, It's too late. You're not the boss. You're the origin story of why the CDC drinks now. You start Saints Row 4 as the President of the United States, and within 5 minutes, you're punching aliens in the face, flying through a Matrix-style simulation, and using a dubstep gun to drop baselines that literally kill people. This game says plot, and then suplexes it into the sun. You're not just the boss, you're the boss of physics, logic, and whatever remains of morality. Want to glide across the city like a flying crackhead with unlimited juice? Done. Want to summon an orbital airstrike using a cell phone? Cool. Want to punch someone so hard they glitch into a different genre? Absolutely. You unlock powers like your speed-running godhood, and by the time you're throwing fireballs, freezing enemies, and telekinetically tossing cars into orbit, you start wondering if aliens invaded Earth or if Earth invaded their sense of sanity. This isn't just power fantasy, this is Grand Theft reality, and you're the glitch in the system with a suspicious amount of swagger. And that's it. 10 games where you don't follow rules, you break the planet with style. If you ever wanted to feel like a god, a glitch, and a walking disaster all at once, these are your playgrounds. Smash like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment before your powers overload the comments section. Stay powerful, stay unhinged, and remember, bosses don't play fair, they play loud.